Welcome to the Photoshop Chopshop. Today we're going to be turning this into this. The Ferrari Testarossa has always been one of my favorite cars ever made. I absolutely love everything about the way that this car looks. It's got so much drama, so much character, so much style. It's an absolute masterpiece. And I've always wanted to fiddle with this on Photoshop and see what I can do with it. Also, just as a side note, I've never seen Miami Vice, so my love for this car doesn't come from there. Feel free to leave all your hate or love for me for not having watched Miami Vice down in the comments. I'm not gonna watch it anyway, and my love for this car isn't enough to get me to do so. This beautiful machine made its debut at the Paris Auto Show in 1984 and went into production the same year. It was the successor to the Berlinetta Boxer and was replaced by the 550 Maranello. And as beautiful as the 550 and as beautiful and as iconic as the 550 is, it never replaced the Testarossa in my heart. It gets its name from the famed World Sports Car Championship winner, the 250 Testarossa sports racing car. I have a model car of that and it looks like an absolute sculpture. The Testarossa was designed at Pininfarina, as many of the world's most beautiful cars were, and the original model ran from 1984 till 1991. It later had two model revisions called the 512TR, which we are working on today with the TR standing for Testarossa, and the F512M, the M standing for Modificata, which is Italian for modified, and was the final variant of the Testarossa as well as the last Ferrari to feature a flat 12 engine. These two versions were produced from 1992 till 1996. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the F512M. Aesthetically, I think its two predecessors look much better. The original model sold 7,177 cars, while the 512TR sold 2,261. And the F512M sold only 501 cars. This brings the total to 9,939 cars, making the Testarossa one of the most mass-produced Ferraris ever. One of the most memorable features on this car are the side strakes, which are sometimes referred to, unfairly I might add, as cheese graters or egg slicers, which were needed for rules in several countries outlawing large openings on cars. They span from front doors to the rear fenders, and they allowed for air to flow to twin-side radiators near the engine at the rear instead of a single radiator in the front. And they did so with style, I might add. And this allowed for a much cooler cabin. Another interesting and unique design feature that was included on the original Testarossa was the fact that it only had a single high-mounted side view mirror on the driver's side. On US-based cars, the mirror was lowered and then joined by a passenger side view mirror to allow for safe lane changes. The Testarossa had a 4.9-liter flat 12 engine that was paired with a 5-speed manual transmission to produce 385 horsepower in the original model and 422 horses in the 512TR onward. So that's about it concerning the stats and the facts that you need to know about the car. Let's get to talking about my FUTUROSSA a little bit. As I mentioned before, we're using a 512TR as a base for the design. I didn't want to change anything about the body, but I figured that if I do that, it would not make for a very interesting video. What I set out to do with this project was to create a show car before anything else. I immediately wanted to make the car electric, as seeing it on all those synthwave visuals and memes really helps envisioning it as an electric car. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for removing the pop-up headlights, but I wanted to do something different with this car without having to modify the body too much, because I absolutely love the way it looks. I also love how the car ended up looking more compact after I was done with it, although I didn't change anything in terms of the original dimensions of the body. This came from me making the door so much bigger than it was and removing the backside windows, or the quarter glass if you want to call it. I tried something new with the back tires, giving it a bit more of a futuristic look. For the fronts, I used rims from a Renault Morphos, but they have my own spin on them, no pun intended. I just want to go off on a short tangent here and say that I'm a big fan of what Renault and Peugeot for that matter do in terms of futuristic looking vehicles and concepts. I think what they do is very interesting and very appealing visually. It's definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. What else is there to say? High mirrors. I must admit that prior to doing a bit of research to write the script, I did not know that the original Testarossa had a single high mounted side view mirror originally. I used to have a Matchbox Testarossa when I was a kid, and it used to have one mirror, and my research just cleared up all the questions that I had as a child, wondering if my little Matchbox car was a fake for having one mirror. I also love how the car looks lower with the mirrors mounted higher the way they are, and it just makes me feel like this car is more super. Also, being that this car is such a classic, I had to go with the small race style windows. Their name escapes me, so if you know what they're called, let me know down in the comments. They just felt like a perfect fit for what I was going for with this car as well. And finally, I had to go with the purple and pink for the color to really complete that synthwave vibe, that synthwave theme that got me started on this project. So I'm going to leave you with the process video for now, but before I go, please let me know what you guys think of what I did to this Ferrari. If you've liked the video, please consider leaving a like and a comment. It does help my channel grow tremendously and I really appreciate it. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. Stick around until the end where we get to compare the before and after pictures for the car, and if you do stick around until the end, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.